We start, though, in West Yorkshire, where word quickly spread overnight that Neil Warnock was to become the new manager of Leeds United. It's a remarkable comeback for a man who was still in charge of QPR just 6 weeks ago. Well, Warnock was at Ellen Road today for a first glimpse of his new charges.
Yes, 21 years after Warnock turned down Ken Bates' offer to manage Chelsea, the two are finally working together, and the fans approve.
Absolutely delighted, fantastic track record, proven at this level. He's won promotion wherever he's gone, Scarborough, Queen's Park Rangers, Huddersfield, Sheffield United, top man for the job. I never know where the season may end up, come what may.
I think it'll be good for the club. I think he'll get the best out of the players. Pick up the backsides, that's what they need.
I personally think he'll do a good job. Very experienced man, the kind of guy we need, I think. Not you, Steve?
I think we need someone with a bit of passion to come in, someone to give the players a bit of a kick up the backside, and I think he's obviously the man to do it.
So Steve and Warnock took their places in the stands for this one, oblivious of the drama that was to follow. Speaking before the game, Warnock said he had one big challenge left in him, and with 3 losses in their last 4 league games, there's plenty for him to do at Ellen Road. And the early signs weren't good, as Doncaster's Habib Bamogo almost scored with an outrageous attempt. It was a sign of things to come from Rovers, a side who'd failed to win any of their last 4 league games, and after half an hour they scored. Leeds keeper Andy Lonergan could only steer the ball into the path of Mamadou Bagayoko, who twisted and scored his first Doncaster goal. So 1-0 at the break, and despite a half-time appearance from Warnock in the Leeds dressing room, Doncaster continued where they left off in the second half. James Hayter hitting the bar this time. Doncaster certainly weren't looking like a side at the bottom of the table, and it was only a matter of time before they did score again. Bakayoko once more in the right place, as he headed in from El Hadj Diouf's return to make it 2-0. Stung into action, Leeds went up the other end in search of a goal of their own, and barely a minute later they got it. Danny Pugh eventually teeing up Andros Townsend, who picked his spot perfectly, his first since arriving on loan from Tottenham, and Leeds had a glimmer of hope with still over half an hour to go at 2-1. They pressed for another, David Button reacting well to deny Luciano Becchio here. And desperate to avoid a third successive league defeat, Leeds' pressure eventually told. Robert Snodgrass drilled the ball in for Adam Clayton to fire past Button and set up a scintillating finale with 10 minutes to go at 2-2. In fact, there were 19 minutes to go due to a long injury delay, and in the 99th minute, Leeds completed a remarkable comeback through Becchio. The game was so tense, both teams were retained by the police after fighting broke out in the tunnel after the match. So Leeds caretaker Neil Redfern finishes with a win, and if this is what we can expect from Leeds under Warnock, they'll be a must-watch team. Get ready.
Yeah, a dramatic end to the game at Ellen Road, and certainly one to remember as far as Neil Warnock is concerned. He saw plenty of spirit from his players today, didn't he?
He did. I mean, 2-0 down, and not off the back of not a great run, and they managed to turn that round, as you say. Spirit, character, belief to keep going. We've seen them in their promotion run. They scored a lot of late goals in that one, and they've obviously retained that sort of ability to keep going to the very end.
All eyes, of course, on Neil as he arrived at Ellen Road this afternoon. Interesting one, because he saw the good and the bad of his side.
He did. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He likes strong characters. He's an old school manager that likes to see people stand on their own 2 feet. I mean, I've got a little. The way that I've worked, you look at him getting this job, I'm just thinking his reputation has somewhat gone before him, because I think if he'd had that perceived bigger name, I think he'd still have been in the job at QPR.
Yeah.
But also I think where it's worked against him, his reputation has worked against him somewhat there. I think it's also worked for him here, because he has got that role of being very successful at this level, very successful with sides outside the Premiership. I think personally, as I say, if he'd been a little bit of a bigger name, he'd still be manager of QPR, and rightly so.
Okay, yeah. Well, he has made a niche for himself, as you say. 7 promotions. These were the scenes only, 9 months ago at Loftus Road. His 7th promotion in his career. He's up there with Harry Bassett, Graham Taylor. You can't argue against that. And he's great with the siege mentality he might employ at Leeds?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Leeds are a huge club. I mean, it's you know, when you look at it, they'll be the club that takes the most away fans to most of their grounds.
Yeah.
You know, they're a huge club in that respect. So that a lot of the time they are People's Cup final, and there's no doubt that he will have to bring people together to make sure that, you know, they have to perform, because they're a big club at that level, and everybody loves playing against Leeds because of the atmosphere that their fans generate.
It's about unlocking that potential. Well, next up,